but it's dredge and we have main deck grave hate. Perfect. Perfect.
And they thought they were a good deck.
I know, right? Play the crab. Opponent mills themselves. They find a Dark Blast. They found a loam. Opponent, probably going to dredge the loam here. Okay, they find a single Narcomoeba. That's pretty good. Bloodstained Mire. Opponent probably fires off the loam here. They're going to need all the lands they can get in hand. They fetch a basic. Interesting. Yep, there's the loam. Picks up a couple Copperline Gorges and Bloodstained Mire. So they pass turn, we untap. We find a Field of Ruin. I'm going to cycle Street Wraith. We have Street Wraith in this deck to help turn on Delirium for Manic Scribe because we're not running Mesmeric Orb because I'm too cheap for that at the moment. Also, it's been pretty hilarious because occasionally it fetches you an extra Archive Trap, which can be amazing. So we're not going to go super hard on the milling plan until we can hold up Crypt Incursion, then we're going to try and mill them all at once. Opponent is in stunned silence to our Street Wraith and a mill deck. Well, we found another crab. Second crab is go. Okay. We mill some lands and a prized amalgam. That's not too bad. Next turn, we're going to mill them for an absolute boatload, and then opponent mills a Stinkweed Imp at their upkeep. Ooh, they hit 2 Creeping Chills and a Bloodghast. That's not good for us. We know they're holding a bunch of lands, so they're going to be able to get back their amalgams in this Bloodghast. I think by my math, if our opponent is holding a Conflagrate and can cast and then flash it back, we die. And if that's the case, that means I have to block with a crab. Because we take 2, go to 7. No, we would go to 1 because they didn't attack with the Narcomoeba for some reason. That would mean we wouldn't be able to crack a fetch. Dang it. Well, we'll see how heavy they fire. They could just kill the crabs. I don't know why our opponent did not attack with Narcomoeba. That seems incorrect. Opponent goes for the full 6. Well, now we have to draw an untapped land just to survive. Because we need to cast this Crypt Incursion. That was very strange of our opponent to do and give us this out. We should have blocked with a crab so that we would be able to crack the fetch. I guess 2 punts make it... They don't make it okay. 2 punts do not make it okay. Our opponent punted, but we punted right back. It's a punt fight. I don't know why our opponent is doing nothing right now. Okay. Let's go. Untapped land. That's really unfortunate. There's no way we can mill them out either, I don't think. We play a Flooded Strand, they mill for 6. Yeah. Alright. Well, we had the opportunity to salvage that one and we did not. So we're going to bring in a bunch of Grave Hate. Try like this. Actually, take out those two and the extirpates as well. So this should slow our opponent way down. Welcome, new viewer, to the stream. We're playing Blue-Black Trap Mill versus Dredge. We lost game 1, they punted, we punted back, and harder. But we didn't know. Because our opponent should have just killed us. So. We're waiting on them to submit their deck. Alright, game 2. We brought in like 8 graveyard hate spells and didn't draw a single one. I'm not going to go any lower. We have a crypt incursion on top. That's about as good as we can ask for. And so we're going to play a Manic Scribe and then potentially just hold up crypt incursion until it's profitable for us to use it. Opponent starts with a Shriekhorn. We'll play Manic Scribe. They mill themselves. They mill 2 lands. We mill 3 cards for them. They get an Archamoeba. They also have a Bloodghast. At least Manic Scribe can block the Bloodghast. They mill at their upkeep, and they mill 2 Dredgers. Looks like they pretty much only hit a Creeping Chill, but if they're holding another land, they're going to get an Amalgam here, which is kind of bad for us. They Thoughtseize. They're going to take Crypt Incursion. They get back their Bloodghast. And they play and fetch on their turn. Well, that was pretty brutal. Well, hopefully we can draw a like surgical or something here. Alright, Hedron Crab. Hedron Crab potentially blocks. So play the crab. Play Field of Ruin. Opponent hits another Creeping Chill. And another Bloodghast. Things are not looking good. Okay, opponent mills an Archamoeba. Dredges Loam into 2 Amalgams. And we don't have any Grave Hate for that, so we probably just lose. That's really, really unfortunate. Across 2 hands, we saw 0 pieces of grave hate, but we weren't going to 5 for it. Of course, maybe that's what we need to be doing. I'm not sure. But our opponent is going to, looks like, conflagrate their whole hand away. Killing a crab, hitting me to 10, playing a land, reanimating a Bloodghast with haste. Gets in for a lot. We block what we can. They get back 2 amalgams. And we scoop it up. Well, I don't know what they're playing, but we have a land, 2 surgicals, and an archive trap, so I'm going to try and keep this. We might just be going to 12 and dying, we'll see. Opponent plays a breeding pool and a noble hierarch. It looks like they are probably Bant Spirits. At this juncture, could also be Infect. So let's cycle a Street Wraith. You draw Visions of Beyond, cycle another Street Wraith. Draw Mind Funeral. And a land. Land is good. Alright. Play Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain, tapped. And a Mausoleum Wanderer. Opponent gets in for 1 with the Exalted trigger. We take it, go to 15. Fetch up a Watery Grave, tapped. Untap. Play an island. And play Manic Scribe. Okay, Manic Scribe mills a Collected Company and 2 lands. So I'm going to surgically extract Company on their draw step. If they want to sack Mausoleum Wanderer to counter it, that's fine. It means they're holding Company and then would prevent some damage. If they don't, we get a peek at their hand and we know what to mill coming up. So, at their draw step, surgically extract Company. Opponent counters it. We won't pay for it, but we will surgically extract again. If our opponent has a... oh, they're holding 3 Collected Companies? Oh my god! Oh my god, that's the best surgical extraction I've ever seen. Just triple, like, duress your opponent. Oh my god.
They just lost to a main deck surgical extraction.
They just lost a double main deck surgical extraction. The first one got countered by an onboard trick. Holy crap. That was awesome. The only thing they have left is a the stupid 2-mana clone that's an illusion that I can't think of the name of at the moment. Phantasmal Image. Oh my god. They got destroyed. Oh, brutal. We mill them for 3 at their upkeep. Because Manic Scribe's Delirium's turned on. Opponent paths our Manic Scribe. That's fine. Let's go get another island. Opponent fetches. Finds an island. Well, let's archive trap. Opponent clones their Noble Hierarch to put us on a clock. Gets in for 2. Well, let's Ancestral Recall. Oh man, I can't believe we did that. That's so nasty. Play Hedron Crab. Flooded Strand. Target our opponent. Fetch with Flooded Strand. Find an island. Mill our opponent. And glimpse them. We got there. Oh man, you just... losing 3 cards at your draw step. Holy crap. That's ridiculous. Let's bring in a bunch of Fatal Pushes. Maybe some Echoing Truths. Let's drop a couple Street Wraiths. Drop the Manic Scribes. And a Mind Funeral. Try like this. Oh my gosh. Whew, that one's going on the highlight reel. Oh, need blue mana for this hand. This hand's okay. This hand's better. We're keeping this one. Flooded Strand to the bottom. We don't need it. Opponent starts with a Windswept Heath, fetching up a Breeding Pool. Probably going to play Hierarch. There's a Hierarch. Alright, well let's slow our opponent down and bolt the bird. I'm going to do the same thing this game. Okay, unfortunately we did not get any Noble Hierarchs out of their hand this time. However, they do have a Geist, a Knight of Autumn, and a Spell Queller. So if we can mill any of those in the next little bit. Let's write that down real quick. Okay. Opponent plays Heath, fetches, Hallowed Fountain tapped. Unfortunately, we draw just a swamp. If our opponent plays Geist, we're going to be on a very short clock. Yep, okay. We get a Trapmaker's Snare. Play Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Botanical Sanctum. They're still holding Knight and Spell Queller. Yeah, we're going to need some big mills into a Crypt Incursion, and I have a feeling our opponent is going to just hold up that Spell Queller for the rest of the game. We get an Archive Trap. We find a Visions of Beyond. Well, play Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mausoleum Wanderer. Gets in for a bunch. Take it. Go to 4. We fetch. Go to 3. Mission Briefing. Try and manipulate our top decks here. There is the Crypt Incursion. We want both of these cards. I want both of these cards, but we're not going to have enough to actually interact with our opponent, I think. So let's Graveyard Echoing Truth, Crypt Incursion on top, target Fatal Push. Fatal Push Wanderer. Let's go. Wow, didn't even sack it. Cast Visions of Beyond. Draw Crypt Incursion. Well, we need like a Field of Ruin off the top. Go to 1. Yeah, and that's it. We're done. Oh. Alright, game 3. Game 3. I think we're set up fine. We just don't want to mulligan as much as we did. We need as much... We're like a burn deck. We need as much resources in hand as possible. Luckily, we will be on the play for the last game of round 2. I would love to play first. It's a crab. We're keeping. Double Crypt Incursion means we're probably going to resolve at least one. So start crab. Get him, crab. Opponent starts Mausoleum Wanderer. Well, let's play a swamp. Mill him for 3. We're gonna throw a Glimpse the Unthinkable directly into this Wanderer. They didn't counter it. Okay. That's good. That must mean they're light on interaction. Or they feel like that spell is not going to be as relevant. Opponent plays a Supreme Phantom and gets in for 3. Okay, we draw an Archive Trap. That's good. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Glimpse. Okay, opponent decides to counter that time. That's okay. It's one less counter spell they have for our necessary to win Crypt Incursions. Hopefully, if they fetch, we can Archive Trap them before they have a potential threat. Drogskull Captain. Okay, that's good for us. That means we will be able to resolve this Crypt Incursion uncontested. We draw Darkslick Shores. Well, let's Crypt Incursion now. Oh, shoot. Should have played Darkslick Shores first. Well, either way, we're at 44 life. Pass the turn. Could have been at 47 life. We'll see if that's relevant. Opponent plays a forest. Opponent Phantasmal Image on Drogskull Captain. Okay, they animate Mutavault. Gonna get in for the big hit. Opponent gets in for 12. We'll take it. No reason to block. We have a ton of good draws. That's not necessarily one of them. Okay, opponent plays another Supreme Phantom. Fires up Mutavault. Gets in for 20. Well, we're going to need something good, like a Field of Ruin. It's Trapmaker Snare. Get an Archive Trap. Oh, there it is. We got him. Hit Mutavault. Get a land. Fire Archive Trap. Fire Archive Trap. And Crypt Incursion for the rub-ins. F6. We got him! I won the die roll. I would like to play first. Actually, I think this is a pretty good hand. We're going to keep. Start Island. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Spire Bluff Canal and Serum Visions. Could be Storm. Could be Control. Probably Storm. Usually Control doesn't run fast lands. We draw Crypt Incursion. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent Serum Visions again. And a snow-covered island. I'm going to mission briefing to set up our draws here. I think we're pretty heavy on lands. Okay, we draw Crab. Crab is good. So let's blow up the red source. Get an island. Oops. Clicked outside my window. Trap them. Play Crab. They opt. So doing this is kind of dangerous, but we are trying to set up like another big mill turn. We had kind of an awkward opening hand. It was powerful, but just kind of awkward draws. Hopefully they don't have any more red lands. It's going to be kind of critical for them to win to have red lands. Nope, there's a red land. There's an Electromancer. We draw a Glimpse the Unthinkable. So, let's play a Field of Ruin. Mill with the Crab. Nail the Steam Vents. Get a Swamp. Mill with the Crab. And Glimpse the Unthinkable. Hopefully our opponent is almost out of lands. I think milling as hard and fast as possible here was a good idea. I got black there. We could have milled 3 more cards with the mission briefing hitting Archive Trap, but I was more concerned with having black for an upcoming turn. Okay, we don't block. Go to 16. Opponent has a mountain, and they're going to go off. Unfortunately, since their entire deck is in their graveyard, they are probably going to kill us before they mill out. Oh no, opponent! Used all of your red mana to cast Past in Flames. You can't keep going. Yeah. That sucks, dude. I am sorry. Moto's quality program. Well, unfortunately for our opponent, this will be enough for us to win. I'm sorry, opponent. They are raging in the chat right now. And and their punt gave us the opportunity to win the game. Okay. Good news is, second, post sideboard, we have a pretty decent matchup. We're just going to bring in as many ways to interact with our opponent as humanly possible. I don't think Crypt Incursion is good. I think Echoing Truth is fine because they have tokens and creatures we want in their hand rather than their grave. I'm going to drop a couple of Visions of Beyond. Manic Scribe is way too slow in this matchup. I think Trapmaker's Snare is less than good. We'll drop a Mind Funeral. And maybe a push. Try like this. Maybe we keep one push over Echoing Truth. Okay. And hopefully we can just surgical our way to victory. My goodness. How long has that been like that? Alright, this is a good hand. We have 3 crabs, 1 land, 2 street wraiths, and a surgical. Opponent starts Spire Bluff Canal. We draw an Archive Trap. We play crab. Pass the turn. Opponent casts a Sleight of Hand. Casts a second Sleight of Hand. Okay. We Street Wraith and Street Wraith. We're not drawing lands, but we do have Hedron Crabtron. We'll swing 0 to send a message. We want our opponent to be afraid. The good news is, if our opponent casts a Gifts, we have 2 Archive Traps and a Surgical, so hopefully we could mill them out in response. And prevent them from winning the game. Oh, it's a fetch land. Hedron Crabtron. Save targets. Always yield. Let's get an island. Oh, so many lands. Oh, that is so many lands. Opponent opts. Plays an island. Plays Baral. Desperate Ritual. Manamorphose. 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 Holy crap. Ritual. Okay, opponent goes to cast Past in Flames, so we will nab Grape Shot. Opponent does have a single copy of Empty the Warrens in their deck, so we are not out of the woods yet. But is that their only other way to win? I believe it is. If they cast Gifts to go find it, we will Archive Trap in response. Opponent can probably cast enough removal spells to get rid of all the crabs. Opponent looks to be playing it safe by casting a bunch of cantrips. Luckily, we are not dead to an on-the-spot storm kill. If they draw 3 more cards and we draw a fetch land, or we draw any land, they lose without a counterspell. They do have an unsubstantiate, though, so we have to keep an eye on that. If we draw Field of Ruin, and we Field of Ruin our opponent here, they'll be really, really sad. Opponent is really digging deep. There's the Empty the Warrens with Storm Count 20. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Did they cast anything else? Unfortunately, because our opponent does have unsubstantiate, we will not be able to win with an echoing truth here. We will not be able to delay. So we basically need to have a way to force our opponent to search their library, which means we need Field of Ruin. Opponent has to discard several cards from their hand. We draw Fatal Push, and I don't think that does it. Well, they get to kill us. Hedron Crabtron was not strong enough. We get run over by a legion of goblins that were emptied from their warrens. Okay. Well, I think we're fine to just run it back. I'd like to play first. This isn't the greatest or fastest hand, but it's a hand that does something. Yeah, let's try it. We do have a negate, so we might be able to negate a critical spell. We probably should have fired off Glimpse the Unthinkable there, because I don't think they can win on actual turn 2. Okay, well, our opponent has tapped out, So we will negate Past in Flames with Manamorphose on the stack. Our opponent did that in a very, very weird manner. Okay, opponent's sleight of hand. Alright, we survived the first attempt at Storm. We draw a negate. We mill a few cards. Opponent plays a land. Opts. Plays an Electromancer. Okay, we will mission briefing for a Thought Scour here. Actually, Surgical will probably do it. So we put Surgical on top. Thought Scour. Target our opponent. We draw a Street Wraith. So we cycle Street Wraith. Draw a Fatal Push. So they do have an Empty the Warrens. They have a bunch of rituals. And they have a Gifts Ungiven. If only we knew it was in their hand. We could Surgical once and hit one of the rituals, preferably Manamorphose. Then mission briefing for Surgical if they are if they have another card in hand that will really, really hurt us. We could attempt a Glimpse first. Let's Field of Ruin. No, let's Glimpse. I think that gives us our best chance of hitting something really critical. There's Grape Shot. So if we Surgical Grape Shot, they have one in hand and they have one in the grave. Our opponent has a Gifts Ungiven and an Unsubstantiate in hand. But without a Past in Flames, they do not have the rituals to actually go off. Okay, opponent starts with an Opt. Their other Empty the Warrens is in their hand, or is in the grave, so if we Surgical that, we should be able to win. Opponent plays a third Electromancer effect. Anyway. Opponent gets in for 2. We block, take 2. Untap. We find a Polluted Delta. Play Polluted Delta. Mill our opponent. Fetch for a basic island. Mill our opponent. Okay. We mission briefing for Surgical Extraction. Opponent probably attempts a counter here. They don't. Graveyard, graveyard. We could... If we had one more mana, I would say we would just Glimpse and win, but we can't. So we name Surgical Extraction. We Surgical Empty the Warrens. Our opponent has no more ways to win with Storm. So we Fatal Push an Electromancer. Opponent lets it go. Pass the turn and hold up Negate. Opponent's hand is Unsubstantiate and Gifts. Opponent gets in for 3. We're able to block 1. And Glimpse should do it. Opponent was last playing Titan Breach, but looks like Storm. Well, start Watery Grave, play Crab. Opponent Thought Scours himself. Oh, this is the Reveler deck. Opponent fetches a Polluted Delta, bolts our Crab, poor Crab. But does leave themselves open to a Glimpse the Unthinkable. We draw a Fatal Push. So we shock Watery Grave, keeping the fetch land in case we draw another Crab. Mill him for 10. Opponent has mill 2 things in the ice. We are probably going to need a Crypt Incursion this game. Looks like they're going to... Oh! They cast Manamorphose, Bedlam Reveler, discard a thing in the ice, and Phoenix. Draw 3 cards. Well, this is going to hurt a lot. Opponent Fiery Tempers us. They did not have the capability to turn on Phoenix there. That was good for us. Let's Shelldock Isle, see if we can get a Crypt Incursion under it. We did not. Pass the turn. Make them think we got something scary. We definitely don't. Opponent Faithless Looting. Discards a Fiery Temper. Hits us for a bunch. Bolt is lethal. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn and fetches. There's the Lightning Bolt. We scoop it up. Okay, so versus the Phoenix deck. Graveyard Hate, Graveyard Hate, Graveyard Hate, Graveyard Hate. More Crypt Incursions. Take out the Street Wraiths. Echoing Truth, probably decent, at least versus Phoenix. Manic Scribe, going to be a little slow. Drop Trapmaker Snare and a Mind Funeral. Probably bring in one more Fatal Push here. Try like this. I would love to play first. I think this is okay. We're going to start with this. Unfortunately, we have to use our fetch land to get a Watery Grave for our Crab. Pass the turn. Opponent starts with a Cantrip. They put 1 card on the bottom and 1 card on top. Well, we play a second crab and a Field of Ruin. They have Kiln Fiends. Spicy. I haven't seen that yet. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. Fetches. Finds a Steam Vents. Manamorphose. Adds a red and a blue. Casts a cantrip. Bolts a crab. Alright. Kind of sucks we lost the crab, but it happens. We draw a Glimpse the Unthinkable. Play Field of Ruin, mill our opponent some. Stop on our opponent's... Well, we can wait to surgical until... No, we better do it... We probably have to do it sooner rather than later. So let's surgical now. Ooh, we got one out of their hand. They are holding a Faithless, a Fiery Temper, an Is It Charm, and a Logic Knot. Okay. So they do have a way to kill the crab, but they don't have a way to consistently deal damage to us now. They play a Scalding Tarn. They Faithless Looting. They discard Fiery Temper. Use that to kill the crab. And they pass. We draw a Crypt Incursion, but our opponent doesn't have that many creatures in grave. I think we still fire it off now to gain what life we can. Because our opponent does have Logic Knots, and if they counter just random mill spells without a threat on board, that's not actually that worrisome. Okay. We draw an Echoing Truth. We're going to pass the turn, probably hold up Field of Ruin for a Visions of Beyond. If they dump a bunch more cards in the grave with their Is It Charm, we might actually get Ancestral Recall mode off. That'd be great. Opponent finds a Polluted Delta. Well, we're going to make them start having to use their counter spells. So we're going to start with Field of Ruin. Hit Steam Vents. We get an island. Opponent fetches with Polluted Delta. Finds a Steam Vents. Tapped. Passes the turn. We draw another Crypt Incursion. Well, let's start getting our opponent's mill spells out of their hand. Fire off a Mind Funeral. Or not mill spells, they're counter spells, excuse me. Opponent, Is It Charm, Spell Pierce mode. Okay. That's fine. 2 more cards in our opponent's grave, and this Visions of Beyond will be an excellent reload spell. Okay. Fire off Glimpse the Unthinkable. Opponent plays a Logic Knot. Okay. Pass the turn. They have to put 1 more card in their grave. Glimpse the Unthinkable. Opponent has another Is It Charm. Spell Pierce mode. That's fine. Welcome new viewer to the stream. I'm Kano. We're playing this deck, and it's awesome. Play Tormod's Crypt. Attempt an Ancestral Recall. Opponent lets it go. Opponent only has 3 cards in hand. Even if they were all bolts, that's 10, 19 damage. We'd be fine. Okay. Play a crab. Play Shelldock Isle. Mill our opponent. Shelldock Isle gets us an Archive Trap. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. Pass the turn. See what our opponent does. Opponent bolts the crab. Alright, that's a bolt that's not going at our face. Plays a second Kiln Fiend. Gets in for 4. We take it, go to 19. Alright, let's Ancestral Recall. We find an Extirpate. We might get really tricky here. That'd be really fun. Alright. Let's play an island. Try an Echoing Truth Kiln Fiend. Opponent lets it happen. Oh, shoot! I forgot we made him exile the other ones already. Darn. Okay. I'm a little bit of a punt there. Slows him down a turn. Okay, so we know our opponent is holding 2 Kiln Fiends. Plays Kiln Fiend number 1. Plays Kiln Fiend number 2. Passes turn. We attempt to fire off an Archive Trap. Alright. Start Ancestral Recall. Attempt to Glimpse for the victory. And it works. Opponent gives up. Moving on, game 3. If our opponent is going to be running Kiln Fiends, we definitely want the 4th Fatal Push in the main. And we will probably drop this Thought Scour. Or maybe a Visions, keep 1 Thought Scour. Do we want to set it up any other way? I think this is fine. Okay. We have an Archive Trap, a Glimpse the Unthinkable, and a Tormod's Crypt. That's a lot of lands. If they're on the Phoenix plan, we're probably okay, but they're rarely ever just on that plan. Let's go to 6. Okay, this is much better. Crypt Incursion on top. That's a good card to have in the pocket here. Opponent starts Spire Bluff Canal. We start Hedron Crab. And cast Tormod's Crypt. Okay. Opponent bolts the crab. Well, we lost our mill source. That sucks. Opponent, Faithless Looting. Opponent discards Logic Knot, Scalding Tarn. Passes turn. We'll play a Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Let me take a look at Bedlam Reveler real quick. It costs 6. They need 6 instants and sorceries in their grave. Opponent plays a Kiln Fiend. Well, let's go get a black source. Visions of Beyond. We really, really need like a fatal push here. We don't have a way to mill our opponent. We don't have a way to gain any life. Alright, play another Flooded Strand, pass the turn. Hopefully our opponent doesn't just one-shot us. That would be awful. Opponent shocks into Steam Vents. Going in for the heavy hit. Opponent lightning bolts. We take the damage. Plays Kiln Fiend number 2. I'm going to extirpate Faithless Looting just to see what they have in their hand. Is It Charm and Manamorphose, cards that look really bad for us. Draw Field of Ruin. Play a Field of Ruin, pass the turn. But I think we're just dead. We could Crypt Incursion ourselves to gain 3 life, but that feels awful. Opponent gets in for 2. Does not cast any further spells. We draw a Fatal Push. Play a Watery Grave, tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent starts with a Manamorphose. Okay, we let that resolve. Let Manamorphose go to the grave. They cast a Thing in the Ice. Okay. Well, in an attempt to play around Logic Knot, opponent gets in for 8. We will Fatal Push a Fiend. It resolves. Opponent gets in for 4, takes us to 5. They Is It Charm, draw 2 cards mode. We let that go. If they discard any creatures here, we will have a Crypt Incursion that's a little more powerful. They discard an Arclight Phoenix. That's good. So we Crypt Incursion, go to 15. Opponent takes us to 8. Surgical Extraction. Unfortunately, we are running out of steam. Let's go ahead and surgically extract Is It Charm. They have a Spell Pierce in hand. So we have to play around Spell Pierce for the rest of the game. Should be pretty easy. We've taken away a lot of their card draw this game. Opponent gets in for 1. We take it and go to 7. We draw another Crypt Incursion. Opponent gets in for 1, we take it. Casts a Fiery Temper. And that kills us. Alright, kind of a slow hand, but we'll keep. Opponent starts Stomping Ground. Just in case this is land destruction or something, we will start with a fetch land. Alright, looks like this is the Scapeshift deck. Well, we have double Archive Trap. So when they try and search their deck, they may not be able to win if we mill all of the mountains they have. If we gain too much life, that's a possibility too. Opponent plays a Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. We draw a crab, so let's play a crab. Play a Flooded Strand, target our opponent. Got crabs, yeah? You missed the game with Crabtron. It was great. Also, good to see you, George Monty. How you doing? Opponent Rampant Growth. They are running out of lands to go get. Flooded Strand, mill our opponent. Fetch an island, mill our opponent. Fetch an island, mill our opponent. They probably bolt the crab here in response. I would not be surprised. Crypt incursion them. Hopefully get out of combo range. Not that they can combo anymore anyway. And pass the turn. This seems like a good matchup for a deck. Literally like every card they have searches their decks. We just need a handful of Archive Traps. Doing fine, was watching Sing Sing play some Artifact. Seems like a sweet game. Had to watch my brother's dog today, so I was occupied with that puppy. What kind of dog does he have? Also, I haven't looked into Artifact yet. I've heard good things about it, so I'm kind of interested. I just haven't had the chance. It's been kind of a hectic couple of days for me. Also, earlier this stream, we surgical extracted a collected company. Our opponent countered the surgical extraction. We had the second surgical extraction at their draw step, and we got 3 collected companies out of their hand. It was brutal. Also, Golden Doodle. Good choice. I think they're cute. Of course, all dogs are cute because they're all small to me. Opponent Scapeshifts. Opponent sacks all of their lands, but doesn't have enough lands to kill us, I don't think. Yeah! Gotcha! Alright. Negate. Extirpate. Crypt Incursion. And what do we take out? We take out... Mind Funeral seems a little slow. Manic Scribe isn't that great. And... Fatal Push actually seems pretty bad. Mind Funeral's probably better than Fatal Push. Yeah. Try like this. See if we can get the win. Also, I'm curious. What do you think of... Is this layout better? Like, now that you can actually see me on stream? This would be a decent hand, but we don't have any early mill, so I'm going to mulligan. Okay. All right, this can work. Thought Scour to the bottom. This chill was fine either way, but this is a little more professional. Good to hear. Good to hear. Play the crab. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Cinderglade and a Relic of Progenitus. Not sure why people always bring in Grave Hate for us. Not sure if that's the correct thing to do. Might be. I guess they could like nuke Relic in response to a Crypt Incursion or something. Opponent thinking about what they should be doing here. Okay, we mill a couple lands and a Soccer Tribe Elder. Go get an island, mill some more. Milled a Rex Sage. That's interesting. Do we have anything that gets hit by Rex Sage? Tormod's Crypt? Opponent makes us exile that land. In case we got that Crucible of Worlds action going on. Opponent has a fetch land. Fetches. Finds a Stomping Ground. Shocks it in. Plays a Tireless Tracker. Good card. Okay, we untap. We draw an Archive Trap. That's good news for us. Well, they only have 2 creatures in the grave, so it's not worth Crypt Incursioning. We're going to see if we can't get them with this Archive Trap. Like if they play a fetch land here, that'd be so great. Opponent, Farseek. Perfect. Opponent gets a land. Or, I mean, gets a land and a clue. And a clue. Gets in for 3. We take it. Alright. Mill him for 13. Play a swamp, mill him some more. Let's attempt to draw 3 cards. Opponent will probably crack Relic in response here. And then we can Crypt Incursion them. We still get a card out of the deal. Awesome. Just as I predicted. Gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Now if opponent wants to grow their tracker, they have to crack clues, which gets them closer to dead. Alright, that's a Primeval Titan. That's big and scary. They get in for 3. We take it. Ooh, Glimpse is good. Let's Glimpse the Unthinkable. Play a Shelldock Isle. Mill our opponent some more. We'll put a Street Wraith under Shelldock Isle. Maybe it can block. Alright, pass the turn. An opponent somehow has to kill us this turn or we've got it. They might actually be able to. Opponent searches their 4-card library for 2 lands. Fails to find. We'll take 9. Opponent did not crack any clues. Did we get you? Trap mill. This seems like a decent matchup. Yeah, we just fight on an axis that they can't compete with. And the crypt incursions are back-breaking. Alright, opponent. Plays a bunch of dudes. Dudes don't matter. Let's cast the titular card out of hand. Full price. Archive Trap. Victory! Smells like victory to me.